Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again. Today we have Mrs. Sunita Lama. She hails from the mystic hills of Darjeeling but currently resides in Dubai, UAE. And she is an instructor at the Higher Colleges of Technology, Dubai. She possesses a rich experience in teaching for more than 20 years and is very passionate about her job. She teaches English to foundation students. She makes it a point to visit her hometown every year. She firmly believes one cannot ever forget roots. She is a trained mindfulness coach and runs a number of clubs for students' wellness. She wishes to start her own mindfulness center for young adults in future. She spends her free time teaching English communication skills to blue collar workers and other community service programs. Her current field of interest are use of technology in teaching and learning, incorporating mindfulness in teaching and learning, and student wellness. She graduated from Dawul School, Kurseong, both of us did it, and attained her bachelor's degree from Loreto College, now Springfield, Darjeeling. And she then went to NEHU, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, to do her master's and MPhil in English. Let's welcome Ms. Sunita Lama.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reena, for that wonderful introduction.
Good
And
evening,
good
Sunita
evening.
ma'am.
Thank you very
It's
much.
it's
Thank you.
great to be with you after years.
True, true, true. Yes, just wonderful to be connected to another Darwinian and to be here
Exactly,
doing something that we are so passionate about. We
exactly.
had,
And
yes,
that is the strength of us, like
right,
all the Holians.
yes, yes,
Right. Okay. My usual question, because I've seen you
right.
following all my talks. What brings you to education? Because as far as I know, you've been teaching since you passed school.
Right. Yeah, so I'm an educationist. I'm very passionate about teaching. I did not become a teacher by accident. I'm a teacher because that's the profession I chose. I always wanted to be a teacher. I worked towards making that dream a reality. And so I was very intrigued by everything that you were doing in the field of teaching and learning, and especially at this present time when we are going through this pandemic. So that's what brought me that's what developed my interest towards all the projects that you've come up with. Are you with me, Reena?
Yes, I'm very much there. So,
Yeah,
while I was going through all your details, I came across that you are a mindfulness wellness coach.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So, and you are a trained, you are an MPhil in English.
right.
So, teaching English and mindfulness, they're completely different. So, what triggered in your mind that you took up mindfulness, and what exactly is student mind wellness?
Okay, that's an interesting question. Uh, what what took me? How did I get into mindfulness? Well, I think it's my background because it's part of me. Mindfulness, meditation, spirituality is so much part of my personality, so much part of my upbringing, and so and that also defines me. Whereas MPhil was a degree that I pursued, and MPhil in English literature is because English literature is a subject that I loved, English language and literature. Yes. And so, how did I think about doing further course in mindfulness and becoming a coach? I think that's what education is heading towards now. In this present time and age, it is that's one area which everyone realizes is the most important. Being, I think we are so lost in the external things or the external world that uh, life no longer or living no longer has a meaning. So there is that missing hole in every sphere of life, because nowadays you see mindfulness not just in education but mindfulness in business, mindfulness even in the parliament. The UK parliament has introduced mindfulness, mindfulness in colleges, hospitals, everywhere. So that element of being present in whatever you are doing or wherever you are doing, that's very important. And I felt that that's what I saw lacking in myself and my students. So I thought, like, in order to be able to bring that into the field of teaching, I need to know that myself first. I need to be trained, right? And then I can bring it and make it available to my students. So in the mainline, education system, I incorporate mindfulness, and it has helped to a great extent. So that's what I well, I keep experimenting. So this is something new that I have found interest in, and
I think
I'm
as kids also, our teachers used to experiment different ways of teaching
yes,
us, and that is how
exactly
we used to learn being in the
right.
boarding.
Yes, yes, that's so true. I think, and uh, that's what I like about teaching. You have to be dynamic. You have to be willing to change. You have to adapt. You have to be present fully and wholly. And so that helps you to stay young, to grow, to progress, to change. Yeah, to
That's
live
great.
life to the fullest. Yeah.
Exactly. And that is what we are here in this world for. We
Yes,
need to
that is
live
so
this life fully and completely and enjoy every second of it.
true. Right, right.
Sunita, could you tell me why is mindfulness so important in the overdevelopment of a child, a student, a young adult? That is what we call them, the teenagers, we call them young adults.
Yes, yes.
So, why is it so important?
So I just there's a very beautiful quote in the book Ulysses by James Joyce where he says, "Mr. Duffy always lived in his head," you know. So I think that's the problem in the present generation. We teach our students to be competitive, to run for things that we think is important in the material. We teach our students and our children to be very to cater to the needs of the materialistic world, uh, and they really don't listen to their heart, and that brings about a big gap, right? And so that's why you see in today's world the rate of mental illness, depression is at its peak. And
Exactly.
it's not just students, it's even people working. You are in a job that you don't enjoy. Yes, you're running behind things that are so uh, temporary. So I think practicing mindfulness brings you to yourself, teaches you to be present in the here and now. Yes, teaches you to be fully alive. Listen to your heart, align your heart with your head, and understand yourself truly, and do something that you are good at or you are passionate about. That adds meaning to your life. So
There
that's,
is
I think that's where.
an online question from Mr. Amir Alipin. He
Okay,
asked, Ma'am Sunita, warm welcome first of all.
thank you.
Ma'am, if I could ask, what is mindful coaching? It's first for me to know this terminology.
Oh, okay. That's thank you for asking that question. So mindfulness coaching, it's more about learning to be awake, I would say that. So just paying attention to the present moment. And so there are certain activities or exercises that you can do to be wholly present. So you know, to be wholly present, you need to enjoy uh, whatever you're doing. That is. So I mean, it's true that we cannot do things that we enjoy all the time. There are certain things we are forced to do, right? Which we have to do. But in those activities that we don't really like, which we are forced to do, how can I train myself to be fully present? So mindfulness is all about being wholly present. And mindfulness coaching is teaching those exercises, learning those tips that will help you to be present, to be alive, to be here, to live in the present moment, not ruminate about the past or plan about the future. We are constantly lost in thoughts. We are either thinking about what happened to me 5 minutes ago, or 1 week ago, or a few years ago, or thinking about what's going to happen, or what I need to do 10 minutes from now, half an hour from now, 2 years from now. So so in the course of our rumination and planning, we are lost. We are lost in thought. Yeah. So mindfulness awakens our senses. Mindfulness helps us to be present. Yeah. So yeah. So for us, I think it's part of our culture that we learn to meditate, right? We learn to do some of these activities that kind of brings us to the present moment. But with mindfulness coaching, you do this consciously. You do it and you see and you trace and you track its benefit. Yes. And then you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it so that it becomes a part of you. So first you do it as a habit, you train yourself, and then you make it a
Mm.
part of you. Yeah.
Then it automatically becomes a part of us.
Yes. Right.
Right, right. So, just tell me one thing. Like,
Yeah.
this pandemic has taken the entire world into its clutch.
Right.
Okay. We
Hmm.
are trying to free ourselves, but we are not. So, has the pandemic changed the educational setting of teachers and learners? If yes, what are the effects and side effects of it?
Right. Well, with the pandemic, it's not just education, but our lives have changed, right? We've been asked to the what we thought was normal has become abnormal. So we've had to adapt to this new normal, which has brought a change in our lifestyle, change in our work environment, and change also in the education system. So as you know now, the new norm in teaching is online learning. Yes. So now, if you talk about the positive and the negative effects of online learning, it again depends, like from person to person. Of course, with the pandemic, there has been an increase in the level of anxiety, stress, worry, tension. So we've had to learn skills that would build our resilience, our our level, and help, like we've had to learn to focus more on the positive side of things, to build on positive psychology, to help us cope with the stress and the worry and the tension and the fear of the pandemic, right? In the education system, the change is that education, either like in some places that I know of, education was completely denied because obviously they didn't have technology, right? So there are so many students who've gone, who have been out of their normal classes or learning for more than 3 months now. And on the
Exactly.
other side, for those who, yeah, who had this available, they had to be dependent completely on technology. So there, and depending on technology or online education has its positives as well as negatives. I think the biggest negative, I'm an educator, so for I'll talk about myself. For me, I think the biggest challenge was the isolation, social
Exactly.
distancing, not being able to see my students face to face. Because as a teacher, that's very important for me. I can read, like communication is not just through, through words. I can also get to understand my students by looking at their gestures, their facial expressions, their body language tells me a lot. And so in this online education,
That is
that's
completely
denied.
missing.
Yeah, that's completely
Completely
denied.
missing.
So yeah, that's a huge gap. And that can be stressful. That can be something to worry about. And it did worry me because I kept asking myself, am I being able to, do justice to whatever I'm teaching to my students? To what extent am I helping my learners? So these were some of the challenges, and and I think that's what brought me to increase my interest in the science of well-being, because I felt that there was one aspect of me that still needed where I still needed to develop skills. And fortunately, that was the time when this course, the science of well-being, was made available on the online platform called Coursera. I don't know if you've heard of it, but this science of well-being is a course that was delivered by Dr. Laurie Santos of Yale University. She actually designed this course in 2018 for her students. Now, you know that Yale students are under tremendous pressure of having to perform their best. And so she noticed that there was a lot of mental depression issues in her students. So she came up with this course called the Science of Wellbeing, and made it available to her students, hoping that just a few students would enroll. But then she was taken by surprise. More than 100 students enrolled for that course in that very first intake. And so during the time of the pandemic, it was made available free of cost on Coursera. And believe it or not, more than 600,000 people enrolled in that course. I was
Wow,
one of them. Yeah, I was
that's
one of them.
amazing.
Yeah, and so in that course, like she talks about these very simple hands-on tips, that rewires our brain to think on the positive, because by nature we are hardwired to focus on the negative. And with the pandemic, we had we had solutions on, or we had tips. We knew how to take care of our physical health, like, okay, wear gloves or use the hand sanitizer, wear a mask when you go out, social distance yourself. But how about mental health? The pandemic caused anxiety and fear and worry in everyone. That does have its impact, right? In
Exactly.
spite of that, we were asked to do our task, like a student had to perform her best in spite of, in that situation. Teachers were asked to be their best in that situation. So,
It was
it,
like yeah, while we are, it was like we are acting, we are scared, but we have to be mindful, we have to be present ourselves as if we are very happy.
yeah, but that
That
does not
because
work.
that is what is going to work for our students. I have a
Yeah,
question, ma'am.
right.
It is Jyoti Sachdeva Vadhva. She asks, ma'am, can you please suggest some quick ways for kids to meditate to allow them to concentrate in the online classes, which is the
All right,
biggest task for teachers, biggest task. Kids are
right.
distracted.
Okay, so can we share the screen, because I have a little activity that you can do. So let's
That's,
do this activity,
yeah, yeah,
and then
we'll
that
do.
will give you a feel of meditation.
Can we have it full screen?
Yes, yes, sure. Yeah. So yeah. So
It
this
is
is
half
an activity.
screen. It's half screen, ma'am.
No, it's full screen. I've put it on. Can you see it?
No, it's not visible completely, ma'am.
Okay. What can I do?
Yeah. Now we need to bring it full screen.
All right. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the full screen now?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, right. So this is a very small activity, and I actually start all my classes, or most of my classes, with this activity, because this activity it just takes a minute. As you can see, it's called 1 minute breathing activity. And in this exercise, you have to sync your breath with the shape. So when I play this video, there'll be a shape that appears, which expands and grows in number and contracts. So we can do this in class. The instruction for the student is, when you see the picture expand, inhale, breathe in, right? And when you see it contract, exhale, breathe out. So you do this for a minute. And then after the activity is done, just ask for their feedback. Okay, let's try this together, and then we can get feedback from the audience. All right. I hope everyone's ready. So let's take a pause for a minute. You can put your hand on your belly to know that you are doing deep breathing. So let's start. Okay, so inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. So just follow the picture. I'm not going to give you instruction. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just going to end sharing the screen now. Yeah, can you bring me back?
Yeah, you're already back,
Yeah.
ma'am.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, this is one activity that you can do. Yes, at the beginning of a class and even at the end. So, what happens is through this activity, the student, you know, before the start of the class, they'll be all over the place, their mind running behind thoughts, thinking of this or that. But with this activity, they come, it's like collecting them fully and bringing them present, bringing them to the classroom, fully present, fully ready, grounded, calmer, more relaxed, and open for what's going to come up. So my students really enjoy this activity. It helps them to a great extent, and as I said, if you do it regularly, you can see the benefit. Yeah.
Definitely.
So if the audience have tried it, they can give their feedback and just say how they felt. Because
Exactly.
yeah, any
That is
student
that is
act,
going to that
yeah,
is even going to motivate us to speak further on this.
yeah, yeah, true,
Anyways, we are anyhow going to speak on it. Okay,
yeah,
ma'am. Ma'am, right now the condition throughout the globe is very grim. All of us are aware of it.
yes,
Right. What is happening is neither the parents, nor the students, nor the teachers are able to understand and handle what is going on.
okay,
They are just going with the flow.
hmm,
Okay, everybody is waiting when are the schools going to open. Though the new normal is going to be quite different, it can be quite traumatizing also because it'll come up once the schools open. It's going to come up with new and new rules for the new normal. That is what we are calling.
yes,
So, like, how is it going to really affect the masses? How is it really going to affect the students? Because students, they are all kids for us, right?
right,
And when
mm,
they are in school, they like holding hands, they like hugging each other, they like putting their hands around each other's neck and moving around. So how are they going to cope up with this?
so, do you mean to say how are they going to cope once they come back
The,
to the normal?
yes, yes, the
Okay,
new
all
normal.
right. So I think, I'll talk about my situation. Like here in the UAE, we are returning to the new normal. So it is like that the shopping malls are open, the parks and public places are open. However, we still have to maintain social distancing. We still have to take precaution, like wearing a mask, wearing gloves, using sanitizers. So, since people are aware that there is this a grave health issue at stake, and we need to be cautious, we need to be careful. So, automatically, people they take these precautionary measures. You see everyone wearing masks. In fact, now it has become like a fashion symbol. Mask has become a fashion symbol. You see people matching
Exactly.
their
I
mask
have seen
with their
people,
outfit,
exactly. I
right?
have seen people matching their masks with their
Yes,
outfit.
yes.
And the
So that's
youngsters, they have different kind of masks. Some are having
exactly,
Batman, some are having
yeah,
skull. Like
yeah,
they are just in a way they are enjoying this.
right. So I think that's human nature. This is not the first time that we've been forced to change, or this is not the first time where we've been faced with a calamity. But so we've always encountered problems and catastrophes and calamities, and we come up with a way to tackle, to deal to deal with it, to face it, and then also to build our resilience, to be able to cope with the change, adapt to the change. And another thing that I would like to say is that, as I said, I mean, instead of wasting our time worrying about what's going to happen in a month's time or in a year's time, let's focus on the now, right?
Exactly.
What can I do now? Yeah, in this present situation, how can I be productive or efficient or, yes, good enough? Yeah. How can what is the good thing that I can get out of this? How can I use this time? Like so many of my students have said, this is the first time I've got all the time to be with my family. And so now I know my cousins better, or, now I know what my brother likes, or and he knows what I like. So there is a good side to it too. I think we just have to learn to be positive and to see the good side of things, rather than worrying about what's going to happen 10 years from now or 5 months from now. What's going to happen, we cannot stop, right?
Exactly.
We
That
cannot
will
stop.
happen at any
Yes.
cost.
But then I can change myself. I can find a way to adapt. I can find a way to be positive and to be productive in that new situation, whatever it is going to be. Yeah. So that's, again, it's our mindset. We need to train our mindset. We need to rewire. That's what I said. I talked about rewiring. Instead of worrying and, wasting our time thinking about, oh, this is going to have a negative impact, and here's where my son or daughter is going to suffer. How about, okay, what is that one good thing my son and daughter can do? What
Exactly.
is that new skill that they can learn?
Because like the kids have been just locked in the four walls for quite some time,
Yeah.
and it's
So
almost
teaching them
it's
to,
above 90 days. It's above 90 days,
yeah.
and very soon, like they will start giving up also,
No,
because
but then you can teach them, like,
that is
how about,
exactly, that is what
yeah,
we are telling the kids. Don't go out, don't do this, don't do that. We need to explain it to them. See, this
yeah,
is something which cannot be avoided. You need to
yeah.
adhere to it, and sooner or later we will be out of it. And you, if you want to go out, go, but you have to follow all the precautions that are required to be taken.
Yes. And at home also, when they stay at home, how about doing an activity together? How about asking them to pursue their hobbies? How about teaching them a new skill, like, even cooking, or doing their room, tidying up their cupboards, coloring, painting, gardening. There's so much that you can do. Even crochet, whatever, something that, writing. Some students love writing, reading. So you have ample time now to do this. And for young adults, like teenagers, for who, for this age group, socializing is very important. How about using technology to socialize? Finding a way to be in touch. Yeah, finding their social circle, in spite of being locked inside the four walls of the room. There is always a way. I mean, it's just that if you have the intention, and if you have a will, you will find a way. And as parents, and as adults, as caretakers, that's what we have to, I think, that becomes our responsibility, to show them that, you can still be constructive. You can still use your time. Okay, you can't go to the mall, but then there's something else that you can do, which is far better.
Far better. You have, God has given you time to improve
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
God has given time, you can develop yourself even more.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So ma'am, I wanted to know one more thing. Like the teachers, yesterday, Jyoti Sachdeva Vadha ma'am, she had asked me a question.
Right.
Ma'am, how do teachers cope up with all this? Because they too are under stress. They too are not able, because they are overloaded with work now.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Teaching in a physical school was better than teaching online.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So,
Because
so
that was,
most of them are under so much pressure, so much stress, that they are just slogging, kind of
mm,
slogging,
right.
because everybody was not used to online teaching. And now, I think for another 1 year or so, whatever it is, we will be in the same condition.
Yeah.
So it's not a small time, that it's not a small phase that it will pass off like this.
No.
Right.
No. Yeah.
We need to train our minds,
Yeah.
like we have to live with it for some time.
Yeah.
So, what would you suggest the teachers, so that
Yeah.
they can take things very smoothly ahead? They don't get just trapped in tension and depression.
Right. Okay. So for teachers, like, because I'm a teacher myself, so I think the first time when I was asked to go to teach online, like, fully online. I again teach in a college of technology where the idea or the concept of blended learning was always there. We always had blended learning. So that wasn't a new thing. And in terms of using technology for teaching, again, I was well equipped. I knew that quite well because I was doing that all the time. But in spite of it all, in spite of being efficient to use technology, I was still um, I was still undergoing some kind of anxiety, stress. And I think that was because I didn't know where to draw a line between my home and work. Because working from home meant work intruding into my home space. And so where do I distinguish the two? Though, so like in the past, there wasn't any way for me to feel that, oh, now my work is done, I'm coming home and I can relax. It wasn't that way anymore. So I think for as teachers, realizing that you know you are working from home, no doubt, but then also cutting that line, saying that from, okay, 5 p.m. onwards, that's my free time, that's my home time, right? Drawing that line, that's important. Otherwise, work doesn't end because
Well,
now work is in your home space.
basically, we need to know where to cut the rope.
You have to cut the route, and even in the morning. That's that, because that was happening to me in the dead of the night. I was replying to emails, and then I would wake up not fresh at all, completely stressed, and then my level of productivity would drop because I was not relaxed, I was worried all the time. So then I decided, no, this, it cannot go on. Just like how I do in a normal situation, I have to make sure that there is a time when my work ends, and I do what I usually do when I'm home from work. Yes, my time to relax, my time to freshen up, my time to be with my family, etc. So I think that that's important. And secondly, again, um, yeah, having that circle of colleagues or friends or educators where you share tips and tricks, what worked best for you and what best practices. How did it go well with you? Can you teach me? So sharing ideas, sharing
How you
skills,
managed it,
learning. Yes,
how you could manage everything so smoothly that
yes,
you look fresh also. And because what I can understand is, though we are teaching our kids online, but somewhere or the other, the teachers are suffering a lot,
yes,
and
yeah,
like we were talking earlier also, like they need to be given the credit because they came online within hours they came online. For
yeah,
whom? For our kids. So we
yes.
need to
And
appreciate them.
so,
Apart
yeah,
from the frontline warriors,
right.
we teachers are also frontline warriors because we have kept the
Yeah.
fire burning in our bellies to teach our kids.
Yeah. So I'll say one thing. I'm very fortunate that way, touch wood, because I work in an organization where I was really very well taken care of to meet the challenge of the pandemic, like in terms of educational technology training, and then having good Wi-Fi or internet connection, having the latest devices that would help me be a productive teacher. Yes, and also at the end, like once our session, the academic year has now come to an end. I'm on a summer break, so I also, along with me, all my colleagues, all of us, we got a very beautiful thank you note from our director, appreciating our effort and all the energies that we put into to make this online learning successful. So I think yes, that appreciation should be there, and even
Exactly.
if it is not there, but I think it's our conscience, right? As teachers, we should have we yeah, we are there. It's a job which is very much like that of a doctor or a nurse, or it's service. We are serving. So we have to have that sense of giving to the
Belongingness,
best. Yeah, so giving
responsibility.
to the, yes, giving to the best of our ability. It's a challenging time, as I said, but then also figuring out that if I am stressed, what is the reason that I'm stressed? Like, as I said, I gave you my example just so that you can relate. Like, when I knew that I was stressed and there was something that was worrying me, like, I didn't it was not the skills in handling technology, not at all. I had all the skills. I knew all the apps and software. I had very good Wi-Fi connection. I had a laptop. I could do everything perfectly. Yet I was anxious. Yet I was worried. Yet I was unhappy. So I knew that there was something that was troubling me. So, and then I started looking, what could I do? And now we have, you have social media where you do get information on this line as well, right? And then I joined these educators, online educators group. I came to know about this course and I did that. And then I realized that, yes, I was not appreciating little things that did matter in my life. Yes, I wasn't focusing on that, on those things that would help me be mentally strong. Yeah, I was only focusing on, oh, I miss my students and I miss my colleagues. But then, yeah, how about, you know, okay, I miss my students, but I have family here. Yes, I have warm food and I'm comfortable, I'm safe. And as I am safe, my students are also safe. I am still able to teach my students. Their time is not wasted. Like, there are so many other students who don't have these
Exactly.
facilities. I have that facility. My students have that facility. So why complain? Yeah. But as I said, like, I think we have to find what is it that is troubling us, what is the solution I can find, and how, and make that and adapt, change
I
accordingly.
think,
Draw a
ma'am,
line.
what we can do is we can enroll the teachers, who want to do this course, and we can
For
definitely
sure.
have you on board for that,
Yes,
because that will
I
really
would love
help them.
that. Yeah, for
It will
sure.
really help them out,
Yeah,
because right now, we as educators, all of us need each other's support, and
definitely.
that is how we will go ahead with it,
Yes.
because without all this, it this like, I'm going to call it a long journey, because still we are not certain when this pandemic is going to be over, when the vaccine is coming out, when the kids
Yeah,
will be able to go to school. Everything is so uncertain.
right.
So why not use this platform to educate and help people develop that confidence which they are losing day by day?
Yeah. I think one big you talked about uncertainty, right? I think that's a very important word. I think right now that's what we have to focus on. Our life itself is uncertain. By the way,
Exactly.
yeah, and I think we need to realize that when life,
We,
our
I
life,
never thought, like, when will we meeting again? How are we going to meet again? But yes, that day
yeah,
I was very happy when you just popped in. I want to do this. I want to do this session with you. I said,
yeah,
fine, you're on.
yes,
So, like, I was so happy. Like, okay, great. There
yeah,
is a friend of mine, my childhood friend, who is there in the same on the same platform with me. I'll be more than happy to have her
right,
here.
right, yeah, yeah. I think that's what I think. Like, again, I'll talk about myself. When I joined the Science of Wellbeing course, I and as I said, there were like more than 600,000 people who had enrolled in that course, and so when I saw that huge number, I realized that it wasn't just my problem. It was everyone's problem. Everyone was going through that phase. Everyone was anxious. Everyone was worried, tensed about what is going to happen, what is happening around us. Will there be a cure? How long is this pandemic
There
going
was
to
a
last?
time, when my son, he had stopped taking his dog out.
Ah,
Like, you know what? It's not that we know what is going on. It's
right.
the media, it's the news that is telling us so many people died, so many people are positive, so many admitted, so many tested. And that somehow hampers the thinking process of the child
Yeah.
who
So
is going to
yeah,
study there.
right.
So
Yeah. So you
we
brought out a very good point. Yeah, that's very good. So again, So limiting ourselves, I think. So actually, I wanted to share with you what we did through this initiative, but I think we don't have much time. So next time I can share with you the entire initiative that I designed along with my colleague, and we ran it for our students for a month. So one aspect was that controlling our TV time, social media time, because not everything. I think that's, yeah. Whatever you see on social media or on TV, there's a lot of negativity there, and so do I
Exactly.
need to expose myself to that negativity 24/7,
And
or do I
apart
draw
from
a
that,
line?
not only us, even our kids are getting exposed to that
Exactly.
negativity.
Yeah, so but then we need to draw a line. Yes, it's my life. I need to take care of myself. So what
Exactly.
are the things that will build on my positive aspect? What are the things that will help me stay positive? That's for me to decide. And as
Exactly.
parents, that's I think that's where we need to help our children. And as teachers, that's again, that's an area we need to focus on and enlighten or share with our students. Not everything that the media shows is right. Or is it necessary for us to be glued to our TV 24/7 listening to the negative side of the pandemic? There are a lot of
Exactly.
positive sides
And
too.
you know what? The worst part is that we, being educators, we are not able to handle things the way we should, and we are capable of handling it much better than what others can. We can
Yeah.
educate our students, we can educate ourselves, and we are not, I don't know why we are not taking up the initiative, because it's not the government's duty to do to take up the initiative and train all of us. We
No,
as
but this,
educators, we know how to
yeah,
handle it, we know what to
yeah,
do.
yeah. So these
Okay,
are certain
we
skills.
were
Yeah.
not aware that
Hmm.
we need to maintain social distance and all. But yes, once we came to know that all this is transmitted through touching, then we started keeping ourselves away from people.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, in a way, pandemic has taught us a lot, but we have succumbed to it. We have just given up some way that no, we cannot handle it. We can handle it in a much better way than what is happening right now. What do you say
No, I
about
think
it?
no, I don't agree with that. So I think we've done a good job.
No, we have.
I,
I'm not saying we've not
yeah.
done anything, but we can do much better. We can do much better than what we are doing right now.
Yes,
We can
I
do
think,
much better.
yeah. So what I believe in is that not being overambitious, yes, and not being too far-fetched, but living life one day at a time and doing the best of what is, answering to the call of the hour. What do I need to do in this present time now, here, at this moment? How can I be good enough, or let's say even better in this present moment, instead of saying, again, going back and thinking about what I did yesterday. Oh, I did this and that wasn't good
We
enough.
just need, we don't need to carry the past
No.
on our shoulder and move around. We just need to
Yes.
shed the bags
But
and move
also not,
ahead.
right, and also not to be too ambitious, and not to, and yeah, just do whatever it is that you are called to do to the best of your ability, and by being very positive, by appreciating, tapping yourself on your back, if you've even achieved a little bit of that. Like, for example, for teachers who just learned to use technology to teach online, that first day when you did it. That's a great task you've achieved. So be happy about it. Don't wait for
Because
somebody else to tell you you've done a good job.
each and every small thing that we are learning every
Yes,
day,
yeah,
that
right.
is a credit for us.
Yes,
That is a credit for our students.
exactly. And so that's the thing. Why do you want somebody else to tell you that you have done a good job? You tell yourself, you've seen, when you notice that you've gone from here to here, you've climbed one step, you've climbed that step. You've seen it, right? You are proof of that. So tell yourself, oh, great, I've done this today. Wow, I didn't know this yesterday, but I've done it today, which means I've achieved something. It may be 1%, but I did come up 1%. So appreciate it yourself. Don't wait for somebody outside to tell you, right?
Because it's not
So
easy It's not easy for people, they will come and appreciate your work.
No, because everyone is going through the challenge. Everyone is going through trauma. Everyone can feel the
Everyone,
anxiety.
the entire, like,
Exactly.
I don't know, like the entire world economy has collapsed.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
schools, everywhere there is a problem. So
Yeah.
we need
So
to come together to understand all this.
so if you, by uplifting yourself, by appreciating yourself, you are uplifting the other. We all need to. I cannot give off an empty cup. Yes. I need to fill myself up. So if I
Like,
don't appreciate myself, how can I appreciate the other person? I can't. Yeah. So yeah, I think it all has to start with yourself.
because if you are satisfied by yourself, if you're satisfied with the work you are doing, you are definitely going to feel good while you are doing it for others. Because
And then it just
like
shows.
just day before yesterday, Shachi ma'am said that it's not that you are doing it for others. You are
Yes,
doing it for
exactly.
yourself. You are doing it for
Right.
yourself. You are
Yes.
doing it because you are satisfied doing it for them.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
That's
ma'am, what are the tips that you would suggest the parents to get their kids on track? Because right now everybody's gone off track. Nearly all the kids are getting off track. They are having their own time of getting up, own time of sleeping, and especially the young adults, as you call them, they are not able to understand whether they are adults or they are still kids. They are in
yeah.
between. They are on a trivia where they don't know which way to go. So I
Hmm.
think for teenage parents, what would be your suggestions?
Okay. For right, like I have a teenage son. So well, so as I said, I have a teenage son, right?
Both of us have.
Yeah. So as a parent, what I would suggest is, well, we can't keep them off technology. That's there. It's part of their life. Yeah. But at the same time, how do you help them to be constructive? Okay. Like my son is very passionate about his music and about sports. So dividing time in the day by doing all of these activities. Yes. So, and like one of the subject that he studies is business. So recently he formed a group where he and his friend came up with an idea of starting a business. So yeah, being creative, being innovative, like okay, they are locked in the house, and as I said, they can always find a platform of connecting and doing something constructive, coming up with new ideas, not just wasting all their time playing online games or just sleeping, having, because again, in positive psychology, sleeping on time, eating healthy food, exercising, these things are very important for your mental health. So to retain mental health, and to be, yes, to be mentally healthy, you need to do these things on time. Yeah. And so as parent, I think it's important for us to encourage them to pursue what they are passionate about, see that they balance their time. um, yes, and to see that they are, still connected with their social circle, and in that social circle they are doing constructive activities. Um, that that's it. And I've never tried teaching my son mindful meditation skills, because of course it's not his field of interest, and I cannot force it. If I force it, it will not be productive enough. But
Basically,
this is,
basically, we need to educate all our parents, and we are
yeah.
as parents need to be educating ourselves that we are not going to force anything on our kids. We
And
can
another thing is,
do everything, but with little by being a little bit cautious, by being more supportive, and telling them what's good and bad for them.
and then also first is, being extremely patient.
That is
This
what
time is a, yeah, it's a
we don't.
time that tests your patience. But yes, sitting. and talking is not shouting, talking, discussing, having a conversation. And as you said, making them understand that, like, this is what I tell my son: you have ample time on hand. How can you do something good? Because this is not going to come back, right? This is not going to come back. So, is there anything that you can do that will make you proud of yourself, right? And so, and allow them to do it, because that's their field of interest. That's what he or she likes. So, yeah, I think these are some few tips. I wouldn't say tell them to meditate or tell them to do some yoga. If they're not interested, they're not interested. That's not what they enjoy. What is it that they enjoy? It is for us parents to know that, right? And be accept it, be appreciative of that. Sometimes, I think most of the time, we parents are also too demanding. Oh, this is not the right thing for you to do.
Not most
This
of the
is
time. Not most of the time, ma'am. We are always demanding. We want them to wake up on time. We want them to complete their tasks. We want them to
yeah,
stay tidy. Okay, tidy is quite obvious that we will definitely want them to be. We want them, okay, you're not watching TV. You are going to do this much thing and this much work and this much hours. This is the time period we framed for you. Without that, we are not going to allow you to do this, do that. So there are so many things, we force on them.
no, but then we must not, as parents, we must not forget that they are individuals. They have their own thoughts. They have, and teenagers, I think they're grown-ups, right?
That's
Yes.
why you
So
always calling them young adults.
I call them young adults. We need to respect them. They're young adults. They have a mind of their own, and if you trust them, they're right, right? And remember, they belong to a different age and a different. We need to adapt to the present, yes, lifestyle, the present time. No, we shouldn't be asking them to adapt to, be like us. Then we are regressive. We need to be progressive. And so I think these are things that we as parents should realize, and yeah, adapt accordingly.
Right. So we let's have a small recap.
Sure.
Uh, what would be the takeaways for parents, teachers, and students for today's talk?
Positive. Please work on your take care of yourself. So, focus on things that make you happy. Appreciate, express gratitude for little things in your life that you take for granted. It can be just a warm cup of coffee that someone, or tea that someone serves you in the morning, or even the security person who holds the door for you. Your everyday needs met. These are little things that are so important in our lives. We need to appreciate and be grateful, but we don't. So, but then I think it's time that we start appreciating these little things, and that will definitely rewire, make us focus on the positive, make us happier. Wo- Look at things, do things that you know emphasize our level of happiness, because again, as I said, if I'm happy, my surrounding will be happy. If I'm positive, my surroundings will be positive. I impact my surrounding, people around me, people for whom I work. So self-care, that's what I feel is very, very important. How can you take care of yourself? Yes, if you love yourself, what are the things that you can do to make the best version of yourself? Yes. So sleeping on time, eating healthy, exercising, meditating, right? Pursuing your hobbies. Yes. Spending good quality time with your family, being in touch with your friends and colleagues, people who inspire you, aspire you. Yes. Technology. We have technology on the tip of our fingers. How can we use this to uh, to rejuvenate us instead of misusing this piece of technology that is actually a blessing in this present time, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
focus on yourself, take care of yourself. Yes, be positive, see what makes you happy, because your happiness is what matters more than anything else. You impact, and you can only have a positive impact if you are happy. if you are positive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. My last question.
Right.
What is it there in life? Because we hardly have 5, 6 minutes, and we can extend it to 10, 15 minutes also. It's not an
No
issue.
problem.
Okay. What is it in life
Yes.
that you regret could not do?
Um, I don't have any regrets. Honestly, I
That's
mean,
what I
yeah,
expected.
I
Then
don't have any regrets.
one more thing, one more question. I think
Yes.
this is definitely going to be the last one.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps you going? The fire burning in your belly.
Oh, I consider life as a gift. I think life is precious, and this life is a second chance for me. I feel this is how I look at it, and so I always look for ways in which I can be better than what I was a few minutes back, a few days back. So that's what keeps me going. I'm always looking for ways to improve myself, to inspire myself. So that curiosity, or you can even, I don't want to use the word hunger because it has negative connotation, but yes, I'm very eager or curious to learn, to try out new things, and yeah, so that's what keeps me going.
I think that is the impact of Dawil. All of us, we have that fire in us. We keep
Yeah.
on exploring. We keep on, because that is how we grew up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love listening to people. And so even online, I love like exploring, new platforms where there are new ideas being shared, new things being taught. So yeah, that's what keeps it. I think as human beings, that's what it is. And I also believe in the power of generosity, serving, uh, just spreading happiness.
I think it has been imbibed in all of us.
Yeah, yeah,
Being in Darwell, I think it has been
yeah,
imbibed in all of us: sympathy, empathy, and
yeah,
generosity.
yes,
Like we have been taught as young kids
yeah,
that whosoever is there with you is a friend
yes,
of yours.
yes,
You need to help them. You need to
yes,
help them,
yes,
and in turn, you have to stay together as
yes,
a family. And
right,
that is how we keep on connecting with each other, and that is how
yes.
we've connected again after so many years.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I wanted to be part of this platform because I felt I'm so great. And I said this to you on the very first day. I think you're doing a
Exactly.
fantastic job bringing this community together, a community of teachers, parents, students, everyone, because this is what we need. We are there for each other. We are interconnected. We are interrelated. And till we don't have a platform like this where we can talk, we can share, then we are isolated. But we can't live in isolation. We can't. We need each other.
Exactly.
So just
And
the sharing.
very soon we will be, as I mentioned yesterday, also we are starting with the storytelling session, and
Yes,
you promised to be one of the
yes,
storytellers.
right, right. I'm there. Yeah.
So, like we will be having an interactive session of the students, who
Right.
are going to answer the questions online, and the one you select
Okay.
to be the one winner, the child who is closest to the climax or the end of the story, and
Okay.
to closest to what is going to happen next. That
Ah,
person is going to be the winner, and they will get a
fantastic.
chance to interact with the storytellers. So,
Wow.
like, I have planned it something different, because the
Yeah.
kids need to their efforts need to be appreciated,
Yes.
and that is what keeps them going.
Right. Right.
Appreciation, that is the motivational force or factor that a
Yeah.
child will always want.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So that I think that is how and where we end our session. And I think any other takeaways, ma'am, for kids?
For kids, yeah. So you all are doing a fantastic job. You've coped with the pandemic. So, believe in yourself. Never give up on your dreams. As I said, let your dreams be realistic and set realistic, don't try to achieve so much. That's impossible. One step at a time leads you to your your goals. So
There's a saying in Hindi, "Boon boon se sagar banta hai." Right.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
that is what will happen, you know.
yeah,
If you expect miracles overnight, it's not possible. You cannot
it's not
become
possible.
again a proverb in English. You cannot become a millionaire overnight. You need
Yes,
to wait. You need to work hard, and that
yes.
is what we all are doing. And I think that
And
is
you,
what is to benefit
yeah.
us.
And remember that you are fantastic, you are excellent. Believe in yourself. Everyone is talented, everyone has the skill. You are all gems. All that is required is a little bit of effort from your side. Never give up. Don't believe in stories that you hear from the other person. Listen to your heart. Listen to your own story. Yes, this life, as I said, is a blessing, it's a gift. So, how can you do something purposeful, meaningful? How can you live a good life? Think about it and chalk it out. Good luck and go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful talking to you.
Namaste. Same here.
Namaste. Namaste.
So, here we end our session today. It was quite an interesting session. Tomorrow, we will be having Mrs. Akhtar Segal Malhotra. She will be telling us managing our pockets and investing in our child's future during the COVID-19 era. Let's wait for her tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Namaste.